Alright, so on yesterday we talked about Meiosis portion. Ready, go ahead. Yep.
So basically you have the dad, make a
Okay, he's called them sperm and the egg, sex cells.
No, it's what
No? Okay, good. Then what?
And then once the egg is fertilized, that's called a zygote.
Once the egg is fertilized, it's called a what?
Zygote.
Everybody repeat that.
Zygote.
Okay?
With 46 chromosomes.
Thank you, Brandon, for waiting because it is your turn. Try to be quiet.
You get 20 chromosomes from both parents.
You get 20 something from both parents?
No.
23 from the
Mom.
mom and
Dad.
23 from the dad, which gives you a total of
46.
46 chromosomes. All right, let's move on from there. What's this whole thing about reduction division? What does that mean? Raise your hand. Levanta la mano. What does that mean? Reduction division.
That is when you, from mitosis, you have 46 chromosomes, and then it reduces to 23 when you go through meiosis.
When you go through meiosis. So they divide, but as they divide, how many cells do you end up with through meiosis?
23 chromosomes.
Cells. Listen, how many cells?
2.
Through meiosis. 4.
4.
You end up with 4 cells. But those 4 cells all have 46 chromosomes?
No.
No, how many do they have?
23.
23. I'm sorry. And I'm the one that sent the message. I'm sorry. 23. So that's that reduction division. In mitosis, you divide and you get how many cells?
2.
2. And those cells have how many chromosomes?
46.
46 in the both of them.
Yeah.
And they are identical or they're different than the cell they divided from?
Identical.
They're identical. In meiosis, however, you have how many cells again? How many?
4.
Everybody.
4.
And how many chromosomes do they all have?
23.
23. Are they all identical? No, they're all different, which we went through this. And they're different, and that explains what part of this does that explain?
Sex.
No, they're different. I don't want to know what this explains. I said all 4 cells are different. Which part of this is talking about all cells being different?
Diversity.
Diversity. And what went here?
Genetic.
Genetic diversity or
Genetic.
genetic variation. Meaning, and this is where we left off, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, yes, raise your hand when you need my attention. Please don't just yell me out. What do you need?
Never mind.
Okay. Genetic diversity or genetic variation means what? What was created?
Babies.
No?
Four different.
Through meiosis, what was created?
4 daughter cells.
What? Sex cells.
Gametes.
Gametes. All right. And they're all what?
Different.
They're all different. So genetic diversity means each sex cell,
No, Miss Wiggins, gametes.
thank you, each gamete is what? Different. What does this explain?
How you look different from your siblings.
Yes. This explains a variety because although you have the same mother and father as your brother, or most do, then you don't look exactly like them. My children, they look alike, but they're not identical. When Darius was a baby versus Tyler's a baby, their pictures look very, very similar. However, they're 2 different sexes. They look different as they grow up because of this genetic diversity or genetic variation. They came from the mom and the dad, but each sperm and each egg are different.
Me and my mom baby pictures look just alike, and we still look alike.
But you're not identical. Notice you said you look alike.
We're identical.
Me and my sister.
Or my brother. Oh,
Aaron and his sister are identical.
I have a sister on my dad's side, but like we don't have the same mother, but we still look like we still look like now. How does that work?
Y'all came from the same father, so y'all have still share some chromosomes. Y'all still share some because you got your dad's chromosomes and she got your dad's chromosomes.
But we still look alike and I look like my mom.
That's fine because you got your mom's chromosomes too. Y'all share something in common, which is your father. My siblings and we have the same dad, and I favor my sister and my brothers a lot. Even when I was younger, I sounded like my brother.
Ew.
I know, it's weird. My voice was very deep, and I would answer the phone, and I would say, hello, and they would say, hey, Deshaun, put your mom on the phone. I'm like, it's not Deshaun.
You would be angry. Well, my brother's head, I have a little head on all my brothers and sisters. If you see my
I saw
brother and
Dante.
sister,
Oh, yeah.
you haven't seen my sister. She got.
All right. Let's move on. So it explains this whole variety in your siblings, and yes, you can have the same mom and not the same dad, and the same dad or not the same mom. My other sister and brother, we have the same mom and we don't have the same dad, and we do favor as well. And then some characteristics you may not favor at all. It depends on the genes, but that doesn't say you're not related.
I heard like when you're pregnant and then you keep like the person that you don't like, that's how your child's gonna come out looking.
Not necessarily.
Like
That's just a myth.
Tyler look just like me.
Like you remember when you
That's a myth.
and Drew used to be like, Tyler gonna come out looking just like
Yeah, that's a myth, though. All right, so let's move on because we really need to get this done. There's another phrase called crossing over. Crossing over does not mean what people may think it means, like, oh, you crossed over, you totally crisscrossed. It does. That's not what it means. We're going to kind of see what this actually means in just a moment. But crossing over is something called homologous. And I think this is an O. Homologous, actually homologous. I'm spelling this all wrong. Sorry. Homologous. Doorbell. Sit down.
Y'all got my phone.
Sit down, Ladrika. Ladrika.
Sorry. One of them got my phone.
Sit down.
This way.
All right. So we have something called homologous. What root word do you see here? And what does that mean?
Same.
Remember that because that's going to come up in a moment. We're going to talk about that. But homologous chromosomes exchange parts of their chromosomes are the genetic information. This is what that genetic diversity comes from because as the chromosomes come together in creating these gametes or these sperm cells or these sex cells, they're all different because of this crossing over. You have chromosomes that share the same size, the same type of genes, not the same gene, but the same type of genes, and about the same in the same area, and they actually cross over and they create not new chromosomes, but they kind of switch. So it's like a switch type of thing, and that's how we get that diversity, and you'll see that in just a moment. This increases the number of different combinations of DNA the offspring receive. What do you think goes here? Read the phrase. What have we been talking about?
Sex cells.
Nope. In this whole thing, what do you think is vital?
Crossing over.
Crossing over, but what is crossing over coming from? What is that explaining? Nope. Go one step above. Genetic variation or genetic diversity. So genetic variation is vital to an organism's survival as a species. And then, do you have this statement right after where it says this change in DNA is considered? Cross that off because that was there twice. So cross this off here because it doesn't belong there. And actually, I apologize. We are. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's my mistake. We're actually crossing off this because that's written twice, and we're going to do this. My apologies. I make mistakes. All right, so let's go back to this for 1 second. Notice, remember what I said. I want you guys to really pick this up. You have your chromosomes. Your chromosomes cross over, and again, we're going to see that in just a second, but I want you to hear it for a moment. Your chromosomes cross over, so that means one chromosome is going to pair up with another chromosome that is about the same size, that has the same type of genetic information, and that genetic information or that chromosome is going to link with that, and they're going to kind of do a switcheroo. And they're going to cross over, so it's going to pull one from one chromosome, and the other chromosome is going to pull something from the other. Now, the fact that this DNA is not identical to the cell that it copied from, what did we learn that was called when cells come out different?
Differentiation.
Yeah, you're not listening. Not that the cell changes so that it becomes sperm cells or blood cells. We're talking about if there's an original cell that's copied, but something was changed. A mutation, and that's what this is. The change in DNA is considered a mutation. So this whole meiosis process is because of mutation. And it's not mutation because of external environment. It's mutation because of crossing over. So again, Rihanna looks confused. Right after this statement, the increased number of different combinations of DNA and offspring, that next sentence, blank is vital to an organism, survival of species, we're crossing that off. We're keeping this phrase here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are we good? All right, now we're on track. So now that we're on track, the very next statement is blank is vital to organism, survival of species. What is that again? Genetic variation. And I want you to use that word, genetic variation, because that's what comes up often. You can say genetic diversity, diversity, but I also want you to keep in mind that it's interchangeable, genetic variation. So if you hear that, it means the same thing. Why is this vital in a species, a survival of a species? Why would you think? Take about a minute and talk to your partners and see what you all have together. And maybe try to convince them of your answer if they don't agree.
Why do you think that it's vital?
Jenny, where's your group? Sit down and communicate. 10 seconds. I'm going to piggyback off of that statement in just a moment.
Oh my gosh!
All right. Freeze, my turn. Simon, why would you think that genetic variation is vital to an organism's survival as a species?
So we won't have like the same. So we won't be the same as everybody else.
But how is that considered a survival tactic? Yeah, this is the key word, survival. Madison.
Maybe it's because that, like, as generations go on, they learn to adapt, so that they adapt from.
Okay.
In order for adaptation to happen. Right?
Okay, in order for adaptation to happen. Okay, I see the track you're going on.
Me? Okay, well, Jenny can say a different thing, but I said because if it wasn't no variation, then you won't have, like, different stuff. I mean, then people would have to all stay in the same, like, area because they all have, like, the same, I don't know. Jenny, go ahead.
Jenny's hand's not up. Jenny, like, go ahead. You're calling on me for what? Go ahead.
We said that it's vital to survival because if you have like too many blood cells or too many skin cells, that really doesn't function because you have to have like the right amount of cells.
But see, you're missing that point because you're talking about cells. We're talking about genetic variation, and genetic variation causes a variety of different siblings.
Oh, that means
genetic variation causes a change in the chromosomes.
oh, so you.
Simon, go ahead. Let's hear that.
So we're saying like with like the reproduction, basically. So like everybody won't have like all males and females won't all have sperm cells.
Because let me clarify that. Because males are going to produce sperm, females are going to produce eggs. in those sperm, in that process of meiosis, that crossing over is what creates genetic variation. That genetic variation is a changing of the chromosomes. So now let's back up the question one more time. Why is the changing of the chromosomes vital to an organism's survival as a species, Jenny?
I said so it won't affect the parent when it gives like chromosomes to like their kids, and then if they give like the exact type of chromosomes to each of their kids, it would be kind of awkward.
Why? That's the thing. That's the question I'm asking. Why?
So they won't die? No.
But why? Because that's the survival. Why won't? Why?
So that everybody won't look just alike.
But why is that? What does that do with survival?
Well, going back to what Jenny said, if your parents give you all of their chromosomes, that would be like something.
Well, we're not talking about giving you all of the chromosomes. We're talking about the change in the chromosomes.
You
So,
said something about.
But what did you say first, Jenny? When you all were talking, when you said to Drika, so everybody gonna have long foreheads. Do we want everybody to have long foreheads?
No.
No. But piggybacking off of the long foreheads, the reason why genetic variation is vital to the organism's survival is because it decreases the occurrences.
Large foreheads.
Okay, so stay right there 1 second.
No, stop saying
Because,
that.
honey, nobody knows that you got a large forehead unless you're the one that keeps saying it.
I would be
No, you been saying.
Okay, it decreases the occurrences, and we're going to remove that word large forehead, and you told me that you don't want everybody to, so is that a desirable trait?
No.
No, it's an undesirable or unfavorable trait.
Like if a parent has like a disease or something.
Yes, for example, diseases. And we're going to put, actually, let's put genetic diseases.
That's exactly what I said.
Like sickle cell. If the chromosomes didn't cross over, then it would increase the chances of every child that's produced having sickle cell. But because the chromosomes do cross over and they kind of change, it decreases the occurrences of the unfavorable trait. So instead of being 4 out of 4, if your 4 children will have sickle cell, it will only probably be 1 out of 1. Or if both parents have it, it may only be 2 out of 4 chances. You know what I mean? Yes, and we'll talk about the Punnett square later.
Yeah, Punnett
All right? Any questions? Everybody understand this now?
Yes.
Indy, I know what question you're going to ask me because you ask it to me every single time.
It don't make sense.
It will when we start to get to Punnett squares and seeing how that happens. So just stick with me here, and then we'll be coming back to this genetic variation when we talk about that. So this is just an introduction to it. All right? Excuse me.
Say if the cells do, what if like somebody's cells don't cross over, and then all of that would happen?
It crosses over, though. That's a process that automatically happens.
Oh, okay.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to just watch the ending portion of this video. And while we're doing that, you have your paper on the back, which breaks this down. And with pencil, what I want you to do is, you're going to be, actually, I want you to just watch and think. We're going to do this together because it's broken down in a specific way, and I don't want you to have to erase and cross out. So I want you to watch the video. You're going to see the steps and the processes from meiosis, for meiosis. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to actually simulate it. Talk to your partners really quickly about some of the things that you wrote down.
Well,
It's different. I just said it's different phases.
All right, freeze. Eyes up here. With meiosis, does it immediately start?
no.
Okay, so we have to have a step before meiosis, correct?
Yes.
So let's label this here before meiosis occurs? What happens before meiosis? But let me back up and say this. I originally made these boxes bigger because we're going to write some things, but then I said, no, I think it'd be better if we actually had some drawings. So here we're just going to label out the steps so that you can see it just labeled out in the actual phases or processes that happen. And then next, we're going to have those steps labeled and we're going to identify what happens. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so here, what happens? What's the first part that happens before meiosis occurs? Everyone.
Metaphase.
Oh, I heard a lot of things. Brianna, what happens?
Mitosis.
No. Interphase. Yes, mitosis happens there, but after that, when you have your cell, then you still have to, because, let me piggyback what Erin said, mitosis is going to happen. But remember, throughout the entire cell cycle, once mitosis happens and it releases cells, it's going to release a body cell, also known as a somatic cell. That cell is then going to differentiate and become a specialized cell. Blood cells, nerve cells, things like that. But some of those somatic cells will then go back into the interphase stage. So let's write that down.
Right?
Yeah. And in the interphase stage, what happens there? We're not going to write anything here. I just want to hear it. Cell growth. What else happens during interphase phase? DNA replication and what else? Huh?
Cell is healthy.
Pinching, replenishing,
Make sure that so.
and checking cell health.
And enzyme,
Enzymes are producing proteins, all of that. So you have that during interphase. That is definitely going to need to happen because before any other cell or anything happens, it needs to grow so it can do the things it needs to do. That DNA is still going to need to be duplicated, and it's still going to need to check the health. But now that cell, because it didn't differentiate into another cell, it's going to, but in order to become one of these gametes, also known as sex cells, sperm and eggs, it then has to go through the process of meiosis. So these are the meiosis steps. Meiosis steps has two processes. The first part of the entire process is called
Prophase 1.
But before we get
Meiosis 1.
meiosis 1.
Ooh, India. You on it.
All right, so with this sheet that you have here in your Play-Doh, we're going to simulate happening during meiosis. So before meiosis begins, everyone tell me what? Before meiosis begins, what happens? Interphase, which is what we have here. Notice, these are my nice little pictures I drew myself, thank you. You have your cell, and during interphase, what happens? Cell growth, so I've already done that for you. What else happens? DNA replication. What is this DNA shape?
double helix.
Double helix. What's these middle rungs?
Bases.
Bases. What are the bases?
Adenine.
We're going to take that off because you're not dressed for the occasion. No, you're not, sir. And then what is this?
Copy of organelles.
Copy organelles, and then it's also asking,
How do you feel?
what is that representing during this process?
Nerve.
What else happens during interphase?
Make sure that so.
Checks the health of the cell.
Right.
If you didn't get that, how do you feel? Right next to it, you want to write checking the health. Hernandez, up here. You want to write checking the health. Do that now. So as we go through this, you are going to need color pencils, your regular pencil, and your Play-Doh. So right now, just pick out 2 different color pencils as well. They don't have to match your Play-Doh. They just have to be 2 different colors. The back group, you have markers to use. Jenny, you're not going to be getting up using a marker, so sit back down. You'll use what's at your table, or grab 2 and then sit down with the 2. Jenny, did you get the 2 markers?
No.
Grab the 2 and then have a seat. Hurry up. Huh? Yes.
She said you can't get back.
Alrighty. Eyes up here because we really need to get this done today. Alright. So, during prophase. My paper. Oh, wait. During prophase, who remembers what happens during prophase? Over here, first we're going to write down what happens. Chromosomes do what, Madison? Chromosomes condense
And thicken.
and thicken.
Do we use our...
You can use your pencil to fill this in. If you want to use a color pencil to fill this in, that's fine too. Chromosomes condense and thicken. I mean, they come together and they start to get a little bit bigger. Looking like a snap. And they pair up. What was that word I gave you for the ones that look at the same types of genes, the same size, and the same location? Homologous.
That's how you say it?
That's how you say it. Madison, come and get
She's on a roll.
homologous. So that's HMO.
Such a hater. Really though.
Come on, stay with me. Homologous. I keep spelling it incorrectly. Homologous. Goodness. Homologous chromosomes. So what does that homologous mean again? What word did you see there? Same. And so what I need you to write in this parentheses, these means that they're going to pair up with the chromosomes that are about the same size. You got to write small. What do I mean by the same gene type? Huh?
Why are you doing shady?
I'm recording. I need people to know that I don't teach like
Oh, okay.
that. What? What do you mean though? What are genes?
Like your chemicals, your makeup,
Be specific.
your hair.
Okay, good. Your hair, your eyes, your skin color, all of that. Here is we're going to first draw the chromosomes. All right? So with your pencil, not with a color pencil, just your pencil, but I'm going to do it with my marker so that you can actually see it before you do it. You're going to go ahead and draw 4, stop the extra talking, 4 chromosomes. And kind of draw them like that so we can see that they're pairing together. Okay? So far, so good. Draw it with your regular pencil first. Again, everyone should be drawing with their regular pencil, not a color pencil. Now, I'm trying to stop the process only because I want to make sure you see exactly what's happening. Notice the phrase here, time to bulk up so we can split. That means time for us to get bigger so we can get ready to split. This is all happening in the nucleus. All right, so before you do anything, what's happening is these are going to cross over and combine. So therefore, this chromosome is going to take a piece of this chromosome. Good?
Yeah.
Which means this one is going to cross over and take a piece of
That one.
that one. Now this is not that simple. There may be different pieces all over together, but just so you can see it, I'm doing it that way, okay? Same thing here. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So do you see how there's been some crossover?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're going to do with your 2 colored pencils, do this. So with your colored pencils, do this. 2 colored pencils. Yeah. So you already drew your X. You just have to trace it with one color part of the way, and the other color, the piece. Does that make sense? Let me come around and make sure everybody's doing it. You're just copying what I did, but with your color pencil. Make sure it's really, really dark with your pencil, except for the markers, because you don't want to bleed through. But what I said, with your regular pencil, I said 4 times. Oh, okay. So if you color dark with this blue in one area. I wouldn't use orange and red. Use a different color that's different from red.
Like this?
Hold on, honey, I'm coming. Use blue.
So we're gonna use the Play-Doh.
Good. All right. No, you're not going to. You can actually keep the piece of Play-Doh, use it to kind of keep you occupied without being distracting. All right. So far we're good with this, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens?
Nice. Metaphase 1.
Metaphase 1. What's happening here?
In the middle.
Nope. I want to know what's going on here.
Oh, in Metaphase 1, the homologous paired chromosomes line up in the middle.
Homologous chromosomes, or the paired chromosomes, line up in the. This is not like mitosis, where just the chromosomes line in the middle. This is now the paired chromosomes. So now we'll have to take these and line them up in the middle. But before we do that, what's missing here?
Nucleus.
The nucleus, because it still dissolves. Because we're getting prepared to make some new cells. So it still dissolves. So here, we need to have the word middle. And here, we need to take those chromosomes and we need to line them up in the middle. I don't remember exactly how mine were drawn there, so I am just going to improvise. But I am going to line them up in the middle. And you line yours up right in the middle as well. And it's easier if you draw yours in pencil and then just trace it so you can see it. That's good too. And I'm going to draw 3 sets just so that it's easier to see that they're lined in the middle. All right? Does that make sense?
So can we do 3 sets too?
Yeah, do 3 sets on. Is it making sense so far of what's happening? Okay. All right. 10 more seconds to do that. And again, it's easier when we write the chromosomes, do yours in pencil first and then trace over them. Because then you can do a little faster. During anaphase,
The chromosomes.
what chromosomes?
The homologous.
What?
Homologous.
Homologous.
Okay.
I know it's hard because sometimes I say homologous. Homologous chromosomes move
apart.
to opposite ends. Or move apart. We can put that too. To opposite ends. Huh? No, we can't.
Miss Williams, no I didn't.
We can't say gamete. Oh, I thought you said we can say.
I don't know why you
Remember, Anna, the A is split. The A is separated. A can mean apart. Move to opposite ends. So therefore, again, draw your chromosomes in pencil on opposite ends and then trace them over with your color. So here I have this one. It's very important that you follow the color pattern so you can see that these are the same as this, moving to opposite ends. Is this making sense?
Oh.
Yeah.
Notice my eyeballs. Why?
They're separated.
Because they're moving to opposite. What about these ones?
They're together.
They're together. Okay. This one I should have made all crazy. Any questions about this? All right, talk to your partners about what you learned so far. 30 seconds.
I learned that chromosome I was getting homo and they have the same type and
Stop. We are now at what? Telophase. One.
No.
So what splits?
Two new cells.
No, you can't say that yet. What splits?
The cells. The cells split.
What makes up the cell? What's that stuff? That jelly stuff.
Cytoplasm.
Cytoplasm splits. Cytoplasm splits and you end up with two new daughter cells. Diploids. And in those cells, are they identical? No, because this one has, I don't remember what my previous one looked like, but you do yours. This one has these chromosomes. And this one has these chromosomes. Are we good?
Yeah, it's supposed to be different from the anaphase.
I said I don't know what my previous one looked like because I erased it. So you should be taking whatever chromosomes you had on this side and putting them here, and whatever chromosomes you had on this side and putting them there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Everyone look up here. Whatever chromosomes you had lined up here, put them in this cell. Whatever chromosomes you had lined up here, put them in this cell. All right? I'll give you about 30 seconds to do that. The reason why mine do not probably look exactly the same is because I erased it and I don't remember exactly. Hmm? Yeah, you're doing that here. 10 seconds. As we have about 15 minutes of class and we need to get this done and we should be able to finish the back with no problem in 15 minutes without Rihanna talking. That's your game face? Oh, I never saw one with your game face before, so I wouldn't recognize it.
Oh, she won one little football game. She don't know how that.
Won a football game. I won the basketball game last year. Won the volleyball game. I mean the dodgeball game
My
last
team won
year.
a basketball game last
That's not the story I'm gonna tell. Because we now have two new daughter cells, we're not just because meiosis has to end up with four. So we now need to go through meiosis 2 because they have to split again. So now we're in prophase 2. What happens during prophase 2?
It don't cross over the.
Okay, but Jenny, you keep missing the first blank.
Oh, I don't know.
We're on the back. These things called spindle fibers.
Oh yeah, spindle fiber.
Yeah.
Spindle fibers form on opposite ends of the cell. The spindle fibers are forming on the opposite ends of the cell because they're going to be responsible for pulling it apart. So, now that they're splitting, if we take this here and we look at it, now you use your colored pencils to do this so that you see it perfectly. This half is going to go here. So that's like a green sideways V or a less than sign. So here we have this here. What's on the other side? The other half. Do you see? Drink up. Do you see how that's split up? Please raise your hand and tell me if you don't see how that. Okay. So if I were to cover this up, you see how we only have the red and the green?
Yeah.
Okay. The red and the green, it's split right there, and that piece went over there. You see that? So that piece went there, and this piece went there. So kind of like the Q dogs. All right? Same thing here. This piece is going this way, and this piece is going that way. And then with the other one. Please raise your hand if you don't see how that split happened. It's like it's taking a knife, cutting it, and if we were to put them together, there would be these X's again, but we split the X's. Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
Brianna, do you see it? Yes.
It's a knife.
No, I'm not. Do the same thing to the other cell. Okay, both of you, be quiet, please.
I drew my arrow the wrong way.
I don't know.
Only on one.
We're not drawing arrows.
No.
Well, you need to fix it because it has to look like this because it's what it looks like.
Can
You
I show you what I'm talking about?
Not right now. You gotta just fix it. If you made a mistake, you could just fix it, honey. Questions about this? All right, then, zooming this down just a little bit because it's our last portion. At the very, very bottom, you notice this. Can I erase this and move?
Yes.
Okay. So then at the very, very bottom, you notice that that is what part of meiosis 2?
Telophase.
Telophase what?
2.
Telophase 2. And in telophase 2, what splits? What split in telophase 1? What splits in cytokinesis? The chromosomes do not split. The cytoplasm splits. That's how we get these 4. Cytoplasm splits, making how many?
4.
Everyone. 4 new cells. What for the males?
2.
What for the males?
Sperm.
You guys need to be better listeners. What for the females?
Eggs.
These are called.
Gametes.
Thank you. Each cell is identical,
Very.
not identical, or different. Containing how many chromosomes? Each of them only contain 23. The fact that they are a copy of the initial cell, but only have half of the chromosomes, that is called a what?
Haploid.
Very good.
Come get this candy.
Haploid. And Tasia, Troy, and Jenny. Come get some candy. Preguntas. I didn't say anybody up there. Everyone get it? Everyone see it? Ay, su tarea, estudia las notas. Study your notes.